So hi guys and welcome back to the channel, and in today's session we are going to do the second set of the LR must do set series for CAT, right? And of course this series is targeted towards CAT 2025, but trust me when I say this, it really does not matter even if you're preparing for 26 or later on for 27, 28. The questions which will be there in this series, they will always be updated to the latest pattern. So let's say, I mean, this question is a great question and it should always be there, to be honest, in the series. But later on also, if there are any videos which are created which may, if let's say for example they are not relevant for maybe 26 or 27, they will be switched with a new video. But anyway, coming back to the focus, which is for today, is for CAT 2025 and the next LR set. This is a quant based puzzle, or also known as quantitative reasoning, right? And pretty interesting question, so to say. I will suggest you guys to try it out once, alright, before you watch my solution of the set. I'm just going to write the names. There are some names which are missing here. Just write this. Okay, yeah, so this is basically the set. The information is right here, right? And then there are questions, 5 questions. Okay, so you can just watch you can first try the set on your own. That is my recommendation. Try the set on your own and then try to understand what I'm doing through my solution, right? So let's have a look at the set, and I'm going to open a new page wherein I am probably solving everything. Might need this in my new page, so I'm going to just put it here. 1 second, right? So bear with me a second while I just organize everything, right? So I think this is done. Yeah, so coming back to the set. So the question says, or the set says, in November the answers of a prestigious test were held nationwide were leaked. Alright, so they were leaked to a group of unscrupulous people. The CBI has arrested the Don, who is also known as the mastermind, and 9 other people. So P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, and X. So there are 4, 8, and 9 people. Right, great. On interrogation, the following facts came into light. So while interrogating these people, they got to know the following things. Their modus operandi consisted of the Don. So their methodology basically was that the Don initially obtains the correct answer key, and then 9 other persons created their answer keys in the following manner. So what's happening is that the Don, he got hold of the correct answer key. So however number of questions were there in the exam, Don got hold of the answer key or the mastermind got hold of the answer key which has all the correct answers, right? And then the other people, which is P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, and X, they all created their own answer keys in the following manner. So how did they create their answer keys? Firstly, they obtained the answer key from one, let me just check, yeah, you can see this, right? From 1 or 2 people who already possess the same. So somebody, let's say person P, what he first does is he gets his answer key from somebody. Now this somebody is somebody who already has an answer key. So it could be the mastermind, right? Or it could be one amongst Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, and X. So they maybe created their answer keys and then gave it to P. So it could be either or any of those. Okay, these people are called her sources. So these are the sources from which he gets the answer key. Now if the person has 2 sources, so let's say P has 2 sources, let's say maybe one is the Don and one is Q, for example. Okay, then she compares the answer keys obtained from both sources. So he then compares answer key from both sources. So let's say question 1, Don marked something, Q marked something, question 2 Don marked something, Q marked something, and so on. If the key to a question from both sources is identical, it is copied. So that means, let's say one marked, let's say A as his answer, and Q also marked A as his answer. Then for P, when he will make his own answer key, he will, for question 1, he will just write A as the answer. So if it is the same, he will write the same as his answer. Okay. Otherwise it is left blank. That means that if, let's say, for question 2 Don marked A and Q marked B, so these are different answers, right? So that means that for 2 he will not mark it, he will leave it blank. Okay, he will leave this question as blank, as is so he will not mark any answer. As you can see that they obtained the answer key from one or two people. So a person can obtain answer keys from either one source only or two sources, right? That is important, right? So just thought I'll reiterate. If the person has only one source, again it is said here, then he or she copies the source's answer into his copy. So that means he does not need to verify anything. So I mean, let's say Don was his only source. So in that case, he would just straight away copy all the answers in his answer key, in his sheet. Okay. Finally, each person compulsorily replaces one of the answers, not a blank one. So replaces one of the answers, one answer which is marked, with a wrong answer in his answer key. So he replaces any of the answers, alright, with the wrong answer. Okay, he makes sure that he does that, right? All the answers he copies, and then one of the answers he replaces that with a wrong answer. Okay, now that is the information. It says the paper consisted of 150 questions, and CBI has ruled the possibility of two or more introducing wrong answers to the same question. So why can't two or more people introduce wrong answers to the same question? That's because that's something that these people have found out. So if somebody introduces question 46 as introduces question 46 as the wrong answer, then nobody else can create 46 ka another wrong answer. Okay, so that is what it is trying to tell you. Anyway, the CBI has a copy of the correct answer key which has all the answers and has tabulated the following data. These data represent question numbers, and then you have this data here, and then you have questions directly. So you need to understand whatever you can find out, however you need to answer the question. Okay, you need to ensure that everything comes from nothing but the table which is right here in front of you, right? So let's now go to the next page wherein we try to understand the table. So if you try to first look at P, okay, if you look at okay, one second, let me get my eraser. So sorry, before going to P, let's go back. Okay, try to see what is the set trying to tell you, the information. Just look at the information once again. The modus operandi consisted of the Don initially obtaining the correct answer key. That means Don has an answer key which has all the answers which are marked as correct. Okay, so Don has this master key. Okay, and then people will create their own answer keys. Now if you look at P has only one incorrect answer, which is question 46 as his incorrect answer. There are no other incorrect answers which he has, and he has no blank answers. What does it mean when you don't have any blank answers? It means that the questions which you have created, so the answer key which you have created, it is only from one source. Now you will probably ask me, why is it from only one source? Because if you take two sources, let's say Q and R for example, and P takes two sources of Q and R, then he will compare the questions marked question number 1 marked by Q, what is the answer? Question number 1 marked by R, what is the answer? And then he will mark his answer if both of the answers marked by Q and R are the same. If they are different, then he will do nothing but leave the question as blank. Now since P has not left any question as blank, that means that P must have gotten an answer key wherein no answers are marked as blank. And which is that answer key which has no answers marked as blank? That is the answer key which is made by the Don or the mastermind. Why is it that? That is because the Don has the answer key of all the correct answers. If he has the answer key of all the correct answers, that means there is no blank answer in that answer key. So this means Don must have supplied P with the answer key, and P introduced a wrong answer, which was question 46. So let's do one thing. Let me maybe shift this a little. Okay, wait. What I'm going to do here is I want to shift this solving part a little to the right. I want to introduce a couple of more tables in here. So firstly, the first deduction was that Don has supplied questions to P, and P introduced the wrong answer as 46. Now I'm going to put this in the table as well. I'm going to maybe add one more column here, right, and just cover this, right, and I'm just going to draw the lines. And maybe I'll write this with red, and the column heading will be wrong answer, answer introduction. So which wrong answer has a P introduced, R introduced, Q introduced, S introduced, etc. So we found out this first thing, that P has introduced question number 46 as his wrong answer. Why has he done that? Let me just explain this part once again. If it might not be clear, then I'll move further to somebody. So 46, so what P has done, what happens in the question is P looks at the answer sheet given by Don. Sorry, I can't write here. P looks at the answer key given by Don, and he copies all the question. Okay, that is what he does. He copies all the answers of all the questions, question 1, 2, 3, 4 till 150. Okay, and then what he does as per the question is that he modifies one answer and makes it incorrect. That is why he has only one answer as an incorrect answer and no blank answers. So these two things are important. One, that he has no answers are marked as blank, and the second is that he has marked only one answer as a wrong answer, right? That is because again, coming back, Don or the mastermind has an answer sheet which has all the answers marked and marked as correct, so he can get no incorrect answers from the mastermind. That is the first thing. And of course he will also get no blank answers, and he has introduced no blank answers because of the fact that he has taken his source, like he has only one source, and that is a deduction which you find out that he has only one source. The deduction is done because of the fact that there are no blank answers which are introduced by him. And I had earlier explained how are blank answers introduced. If you are facing a problem with that, you could maybe just rewind a little bit and just understand that. Okay, it's basically introduced when there are two sources, and two sources, you've taken two sources, and two sources, both the sources have different answers marked in their answer sheet. So that's when you introduce a blank answer. Anyway, same logic will run with S, and same logic will run with V, right? So you can understand here by this that Don has supplied questions to P, to S, and to V. And what are the wrong answers that they have introduced? 46, 17 and 25. This is the first set of deductions which you have to create. Alright, this is the first set. Okay, I'm going to write all the names also so that I know who I have covered and who are left. behind right here, P Q R S T U V W and X, right? So let's move further now. The next part is looking at, let's say, T, for example. You look at T. Okay, why am I looking at T here? Is because there are no blank answers introduced by T, right? But there is one incorrect answer which T has introduced. So I want to try to understand that how did this actually happen? How did an introduction of a wrong answer happen and no blank answers happen? That can only happen when you, so I mean, coming back, sorry, once again, let me just reiterate. Look at T, right? T has two wrong answers. One is 46 and one is 90. Okay, there are two wrong answers and he has no answers marked as blank. So that means that there must have been only one source which he considered, because there are no answers which he has marked as blank, right? And since he has marked two answers as wrong answers, what probably happened was that T was probably supplied with an answer sheet which already had one answer which was marked as the wrong answer, and then he just copied that blindly, because if you have only one source, the logic of the question says that you just copy all the answers directly, right? You want to copy all the answers directly, and then based on your choice, you change one answer from the source which you have, and you make that answer as an incorrect answer. So he changed that for one of the answers, right? You don't do it for two, you only do it for one, right? So T has probably introduced one wrong answer, and what is that wrong answer he has probably introduced? That is going to be 90. Now why do I say it's going to be 90? Because the logic here is that P introduced the wrong answer 46 and T has a wrong answer 46 and the other answer is 90. So what probably happened was that T sourced his answer key from P. So P was a source for T. T copied all the answers and then T changed the answer for question number 90. Now it was told to you, if you check in the previous tab, CBI has ruled out the possibility of two or more of them introducing wrong answers to the same question right here. Okay, so from that logic, you know necessarily that T cannot introduce the wrong answer for question 46. He cannot change the answer for question 46. That's why he copied everything from P, what he got from P, right? And then changed the answer for question number 90. That is essentially what happened, right? So T source is P and he introduced question 90 as the incorrect answer. So let me put that in here as well, that he put question 90 as the wrong answer, the introduction of an incorrect answer. The same can be found out for W, right? Now if you look at W has one wrong answer as 46 and the other wrong answer is 92. So it essentially means that W also sourced his questions from P. He has a wrong answer as 46 and then he introduced a wrong answer as 92. So the same thing happened with W, this like what happened with P. So what happened with T, right? So I'm just erasing this and I'm going to write the wrong answer introduction with a red pen, okay, so that it is easier. So what he copied and what he introduced as the wrong answer. Okay, so this is what he copied, 46, and this is what he introduced as the wrong answer. Let me maybe erase all of this as well. Okay, now let's move forward. Now I am done for W, and right now my goal is just to look at all the blanks. Okay, all the people who have a blank, I'm just going to look at those, right, and going to eliminate them, eliminate what is happening with them, and then I'm going to look at people with blank answers. So W introduced 92. Okay, so we have done for V, we have done for P, we have done for S, right here, P, S and V, and then we've done for T and W as well. Okay, and maybe I can just make an arrow so that I know that all of these people have been taken care of. Okay, now what happens next, right? Because we are in a dilemma right here. We've used all the blank answers, है ना? We've used all the blank answer wale questions, or people who have a blank answer. Now we need to necessarily go to one person who has who has a blank in his paper. Okay, so why not start with you? Okay, why not look at you? So what happens with you? If you look at you, he has his wrong answers as 14. Okay, 1 second. I'm going to okay, what happens with you? So you has a wrong answer, has 14 and 46. 46 probably came from P, or and 14 maybe he introduced or whatever, right? And he has blank answers as 92 and 90. So if he has blank answers, the first thing you need to understand that there must be two sources he has taken an answer from. And what is the logic for a blank answer? The logic for a blank answer is that if you have question 90, for example, okay, let's say there are two sources, source A and source B. Maybe question source A marked answer of 90 as option B. Okay, he marked option B as the answer, and maybe source B marked his answer as A. Now this guy who looked at question 90 and who had taken these two sources, this guy is you, when he looked at answer sheets of A and B, he realized that there are two answers to the same question, and that means that the instructions which was there, that tell us that when there are two different answers to a specific question, you have to introduce a blank. So that's when he introduced a blank in 90. Same case with 92, different answers, and hence he must have introduced a blank. Now this is very interesting, right? Because how do we find out that which blank led to, like, which answer keys led to this? If you look at the answer keys of the ones we did just before you, which is answer keys of T and answer keys of W. Now answer key of T tells us that 46 is an incorrect answer, but this 46 was sourced from where? This 46 was sourced from P, right? Because P had introduced a wrong answer as for question 46, and T wrote that exact answer, he copy pasted that answer as his incorrect answer, right? So T's answer for 46 is actually the same as answer of P, right? Similarly, if you look at W as well, the answer for W for question 46 is the same as the answer which P had for question 46. So that means, because the instruction is when you have only one source, you are just directly copying the answers without changing any of the answers, and once you've copied all the answers, then you change a different answers question. So the answer which is already changed, you don't change that, you change an answer of a different question. Okay, that is told to us. That is what the clue said earlier, that CBI noted that two or more people cannot give the wrong answer of the same question, right? They cannot introduce wrong answers to the same question. They can't do that. That is given to us. So answer to question 46 for T and answer to question 46 for W, this answer is the same. Alright. So if you takes this as a source, okay, he takes these two people as sources, T and W, his answer for question 46 will not be a blank answer, but he will actually copy that answer in his answer sheet. Alright, and we know that it is already a wrong answer. Why will he copy the answer in his answer sheet? Because it is told to you earlier, okay, you look at this part right here. If the answer key to a question from both sources is identical, that means the same answer is provided, it is copied. Otherwise, it is left blank. So, using that logic, since answer of question 46 given by T and given by W is the same as the answer given by P, that means both the answers are same, that means he must have directly copied question number 46. And what about the blank answers? I'm not touching option wrong answer 14 right now, and 46 is of course a wrong answer because P had introduced that as a wrong answer. And I'm now coming to 46, like not right now I'm not going to look at 14 I'll just do right after this. Looking at the blank answers, what happened while you was copying questions from answer key of T and answer key of W, when he came to question number 90, he realized that T has, he does not know, alright, but he knows that T has marked some answer for question number 90 and W has marked a different answer, because for W he has not marked question 90 as an incorrect answer, right? You see right here, he actually marked question 92 as an incorrect answer, not question 90. That means W has a different answer which is the correct answer, and T has marked a different answer which is the wrong answer for question 90, because he changed that answer. That is the instruction, that when you copy the entire answer sheet, you change one of the answers that is told to you. Okay, so that means when you came to question 90, I was at a dilemma that question 90 has two answers, one from T, one from W. Which one do I mark? Then he remembers the instruction that, oh no, he has to mark, and if there is any confusion, if there are two answers supplied to a specific question, then you mark that answer as a blank answer. So that's why he marked this 90 as a blank answer. Similarly, for question 92 as well, he does the same thing. He realizes W has marked something and T has marked something else, and hence he gives a blank in question 92 as well. Now once he does all of this, once he does for all the 150 questions, because there are a total of 150 questions, it was told to us earlier, once he does for all of this, he realizes that he has to also introduce a wrong answer. So he introduces question 14 as the incorrect answer. How do I know it is question 14? Because there are no other wrong answers, no other person who has a wrong answer as question number 14. So that means that he has two wrong answers. One of them is 46, which is copied from T and W, which is actually from P, and the other wrong answer he introduced is 14. And similarly, question 92 and 90, he has actually introduced them as blanks. So I'm going to put another column here in my table, and I'm going to explain this. Okay, wait, maybe not in red, it is to be black. Yeah. And I'm going to mention this as incorrect answers, sorry, as blank answers introduced. So this is going to be blank answer introduction, right? Of course, the people who don't have a blank answer, they are of course not going to introduce a blank answer. So I'm going to skip those people. Right, and for you, we know that the wrong answer is the blank introduction is at 90 and 92, and the incorrect answer introduction is question number 40, right? So now let's move further, and of course in my tree I know that this guy and this guy has given you their answer sheets. Now I am done with you as well. Now what can I check? Okay, let's look at X. Okay, we have an option of course to look at X, or we have options to look at other people also, but X is an interesting story. So when you look at X, okay, and I'm going to maybe make a chart. Where can I make his chart? 4690. Okay, I can make his chart maybe here. When you look at X, he has blank answers, so two parts, wrong answers and blank answers. He has blank answers as 17, 46 and 90. So that means that he got two different answer keys for these three questions. Now, where do you have 17, 46, 90? So you have S at 17, that is the only person you have at 17 as a wrong answer, and you have T at 46 and 90. So if X, I'm going to, for illustration purposes, I'm going to write here, if S and T gave X their answer sheet, so they were the sources. So for question 17, when X reached question 17 while copying, he must have realized that S has a different answer and T has a different answer, because T has the correct answer and S has the incorrect answer, right? Of course, he does not know which is correct and which is incorrect, but he knows that there are two different answers. So he is going to write this answer as a blank answer. Similarly, when he reaches question 46, he realizes that T has marked it differently and S has marked it differently. Same case for 90. So this is how the wrong answers were introduced. So the blank answers were introduced for X, and then what he does, nothing, but he just introduces an incorrect answer. So that incorrect answer which he introduces is actually question 27 right here. So that is what happens for X, and I can just write that he introduced question 27 as the incorrect answer, and 17, 46 and 90 as his blank answers are the introductions, right? So the sources are S and T. I'm just going to mark this. Sources are S and T. Okay, maybe I can write, can I put this at the bottom? 1 second. Okay, I can put this at the bottom so that, yeah, wait, sorry. Yeah, so that I have space to write. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to write on the left who is the source for which person. So source is going to be right here. So source for P is the mastermind or Don. Source for Q we've not found out yet. Source for R we've not found out yet. Source for S is all again the Don. Source for T is right here, which is only P. Only P is the source, right? We can see right here. P is the source for T. So P is the source for T. For U, sources are T and W. So T and W are the sources for U. For V, Dawn is the source. So the Dawn is the source or the mastermind. And for X, for W, sorry, before X, WP is the source. And for X, you have sources as T and S. All right. So now we are only left with Q and R, right? We have done X, we've done U, only left with Q and R. So first 46, 90, 25 blank answers, right? So blank answers are 46, 90 and 25. How do you get this, right? That is very interesting, right? So how do you actually source this? So it means that the person Q must have copied, either he has blank answers for 46, 90 and 25, right? That is one option, okay? Or the other option is that he has a wrong answer. One person has a wrong answer and one person has a correct answer for these sources, and that's where he got the answers from. So if you see T as one of the sources, T could be one of the sources because other person, if they don't have 46 and 90 as their wrong answers, then like T and plus one other person, if the other person has marked 46 and 90 as correct, then the blank answers of 46 and 90 can be attributed to Q from T, right? And for 25 you can have V as the source. So for person Q, what is happening is there are, sorry, I'll write it here to illustrate. Person Q, there are two sources. Source 1 is T and source 2 is V. When he reaches question 25, firstly, T, right. So when he reaches question 25, firstly, he realizes that V has marked this answer differently and T has marked question 25 differently, because V has a wrong answer in question 25 and T has a correct answer in question 25. So because T has marked it differently and V has marked it differently, he is going to introduce a blank in question 25. Then he goes to question 46 and 90 and he realizes that T has marked something else and V has marked something else in question 46 and 90. So that's where he gets all of his blank answers from. And then coming to the wrong answer 96, he needs to introduce a wrong answer as well, right? Because wrong answer of T, which is question 46 and 90, this actually became a blank answer for Q. Similarly, wrong answer for V of question 25 became a blank answer for Q. So he has no wrong answers, and anyway, even if he did have wrong answers, he does not know that, so he needs to introduce a wrong answer. So he introduced a wrong answer as question 96, right? So person Q, let me write it maybe here, he has his sources of T and V, and person Q has introduced blank answers of 46, 90 and 25, and he has introduced a wrong answer of 96. Okay, so and these are the sources. Okay, I can write T and V as person Q's sources. Now the only person who is left here is person R. Okay, so for person R, what is happening? Before I write for R, I'll just complete this. For V, I did not write the wrong answer being introduced. Similarly for S also I did not write. So for person R, he has two wrong answers, 27 and 56. That means he must have copied one of the wrong answers, and the other wrong answer he has introduced. Okay, so if you see, X has a wrong answer of 27. Okay, and what is the instruction for blank answers? If you see, right, they created the answer key in the following manner. They obtained the answer key from one or two people who already possess the same. These people are called the sources. If the person has two sources, then she compares the answer key obtained from both sources. If the key to a question from both sources is identical, it is copied, otherwise it is left blank. If the person has only one source, she copies the source's answer into his copies, and each person compulsorily replaces one of the answers which is not a blank answer as a wrong answer in his or her answer key. So that is something which happens. Okay, so coming to R, what is happening with R? He has, if you look at X has 27 as a wrong answer, and 17, 46 and 90 as his blank answers. Okay, so what happened with R is that R looked at the answer key of X. Okay, he had source of X as his as the source. R had a source of X, and when he looked at his answer key, when he went to question 27, of course all the questions 1 to 150 he was copying, right? And question 27 also he copied from X's answer key. Similarly, question 17 he realized that it is a blank, so he's going to leave it blank. Question 46 he realized that it is blank, he's going to leave it blank. Question 90 he realized that it is blank, and he will leave it blank. So any answer which is blank, he will just directly copy it. So 17, 46 and 90 came as blank for R from X, and 27, the wrong answer, was also copied from X's sheet, and then he realized that he needs to introduce one answer as his incorrect answer. So he introduced question 56 as the wrong answer, right? Because it is told to you, if a person has one source, it's told to you, see, right here, if a person has only one source, she copies the source's answers in his copy. So if the source has a blank answer, he will copy that. If he has a marked answer, he will copy that. So marked answer 27 ended up being wrong because X had also marked that as the wrong answer, and 17, 46 and 90 were blank answers, so he R copied them blindly. Okay, so this happened. So 56 was introduced by R as the incorrect answer, and no blank answers were introduced by him because blank answers he directly copied. And this is now the solution to the entire set, and I hope you guys were able to understand how to approach. Again, a very interesting set, and I'm sorry this recording took almost 40-45 minutes, very long, I understand, but I thought I'll explain things in a simple manner. I wanted to, sometimes I end up over explaining a little, but I want to ensure that you guys are understanding. That is the essential goal. Okay, so all of these guys are done. So now let's look at the questions. So the first question, who among the following must have two sources? This is missing here, the options are missing. Let me introduce the options, just a moment. Let me erase all of this, and let me just bring out the options in a moment. Just a second, guys. Options for this. So options for the first question are P, Q, R and S, and who among the following must have two sources? So you need to check for two sources. So P has, who has a source? Don has a source, right? P has only one source. Q has two sources, T and V. So T is definitely going to be the answer. Let's look at R and S also. R has only one source, which is X. S has only one source, which is Don. So the correct answer to the first question is option B, which is Q. How many people, excluding the mastermind, needed to make their answer key before R could make his answer key? So if you look at R, okay, what is happening with R? R has copied his answers from X. Okay, let me write on a new page. R has copied his answers from X. Now, how has X gotten his answer key? If we remember X made his answer key from T and S. Okay, so X made his answer key from two sources, which is T and S. They both supplied to to R. And then for T, who was the source? For T, P was the source, and for S, the mastermind was the source. Okay, so for T, P was the source, and for S, the mastermind was the source. So Don was the source. So it's asking you, the question says, how many people, excluding the mastermind, needed to make their answer key before R could make his answer key? So of course the mastermind is not to be counted, so we are not going to count mastermind. So P was the first person who had to make his answer key. T was the second person, S was the third person, and X was the fourth person before R could make his answer key, because R made his answer key from X's, and X made his answer key from T and S's, and T made his answer key from P's, and of course S made his answer key from Don's. So if T and S's answer key did not exist, then X could not have made his answer key. That's why the link is important, right? So the answer to this question is 1%, 2%, 3%, and 4 people. So 4 is the answer. So 4 people needed to make their answer keys before R could make his answer key. The question 3 says both T and W were sources to ? And the options are U, X, Q, and none of these. Okay, So the question says both T and W were sources too. So T was a source to U and X, and W was a source to U, right? So the answer, of course, to this will be that T and W, both of them were sources to U. Okay, so that answers this question. Now, because see, we have it right here and we have it right here also. Okay. So then the next question, which of the following is definitely true? R introduced the wrong answer to 27. R did not introduce the wrong answer to 27. 27 was introduced by X, right? I hope you guys remember. Okay. The next is T introduced the wrong answer to question 46. T introduced the wrong answer to question 46. Introduction was done by P, not T. T actually introduced question 90. So T, this is also not the correct answer. U introduced the wrong answer to question 14. U introduced the wrong answer to question 14. U introduced the wrong answer to question 14. Of course, this is correct. C option is correct. Option D says W introduced the wrong answer to question 46. Let's just have a look at this. W introduced the wrong answer to 92, not 46. Hence, this is not the answer. And hence, C is the correct answer. Question 4, C is the correct answer. Question 5 says, which of the group has the same sources? One is PSV and second is TNV. So PSV and TNW. And it says only one. Wait, I'm just going to put this on the side. I hope my face was not blocking this. I just realized in the recording my face was here. Apologies for this. I just realized this I had written V here. I hope this does not get butchered in the recording. Just realized this right now. Anyway, so I had to move this first, so I'm just going to put it at the top, right? And the options had, option 1 says, option A says only one, option B says only two, option C says both 1 and 2, and option D says neither, right? So let's have a look at this and see who had the same sources, right? So P, S and V. Did P, S and V have the same source? Yes, P, S and V had the same sources. Their source was the mastermind. Next, did T and W have the same source? T and W. Yes, T and W had the same source as P. So both T and W also had the same source, and P, S and V had the same source as well. So the answer to this question is both 1 and 2. Option C is the correct answer. And well, that constitutes finishes the entire set, and that essentially completes everything, right? And I hope you guys enjoyed. Again, apologies for my face being in the way, but I hope you guys enjoyed. I had a lot of fun solving this set. Again, a very interesting set, right? Just put my camera maybe in the middle, maybe a little bigger for the ending. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the session, and I'll look forward to seeing you guys in the next session. Thank you.